Have you ever noticed how differently people act depending on where they are and who they're with? Maybe your friend is super professional and serious at work, but when you hang out at home, they're completely relaxed and goofy. Or think about social media. How often do you see posts of friends looking perfect on vacation, but you know they spend most of the time on their phones? These are all performances. And sociologist Irving Goffman had a fascinating theory that explains why we do this. Goffman's dramaturgical theory compares our lives to a theater, where we're all actors performing for an audience. We play different roles depending on the situation, and just like actors on a stage, we adjust our behavior based on how we want others to see us. For example, you might act one way in a job interview. Polished, confident, professional. Showing your best self because you know that's the role that's expected of you. But when you're at home, around close family or friends, you relax. Maybe even let out a few complaints you'd never share in public. That's what Goffman would call your backstage self. The place where you're not performing for an audience. These daily performances aren't fake. They're just different versions of ourselves, shaped by the context and the audience. Goffman's dramaturgical theory is all about social interactions. He believed that life is like a play, and we're all actors for an audience. Just like in a theater, we perform different roles depending on the situation and the people around us. Goffman used terms from the world of theater to explain how we navigate everyday life. The front stage is where we perform for others, projecting an image that fits the situation. This is how we want to be seen. The backstage is where we can drop the act and be ourselves, away from the public eye. Props and costumes, these are things like our clothing, our body language, or the environment, which help us to maintain our performances. In short, Goffman argued that much of our social behavior is about managing impressions, controlling what others see of us to fit the context. Now, how does this apply to the digital world that we live in? Let's take social media as an example. On platforms like Instagram, TikTok, or even LinkedIn, we're always performing on Goffman's front stage. The photos we choose, the captions we write, even the filters we use, all of these are carefully selected to present an image that fits the expectations of our audience, whether they're friends, followers, or professional contacts. We want to show the best version of ourselves, and we actively manage the impressions we give off. Think about the differences between your Instagram feed and your private messages with a close friend. On your feed, you might be posting highlights, vacations, successes, moments when you're looking your best. But in private messages, you might be more relaxed, maybe even revealing your backstage self, where the performance is dropped and you're more authentic. Now let's talk about dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, or Hinge. These platforms are a unique stage where people are performing a role with a very specific goal in mind, finding a connection or a romantic partner. Here, the front stage is critical. Your profile picture, bio, and even your conversation style are all parts of a performance designed to attract others. You're not just presenting yourself, you're presenting a version of yourself that you think will be attractive or desirable to potential matches. But, just like in Goffman's theory, this is still a performance. Interestingly, people on dating apps may also craft multiple roles, depending on who they're talking to. For instance, you might play a more serious or intellectual role for one match, while presenting a funnier or more casual side for another, adjusting your performance based on what you think will succeed in each interaction. So what does Goffman's dramaturgical theory tell us about social media and dating apps? It shows us that we're constantly performing, managing impressions, and presenting different versions of ourselves based on the audience we're trying to engage with. Goffman's theory reminds us that even online, where we might think that we're being real, we're still acting, consciously or unconsciously, in ways that shape how others see us. In a world where much of our lives play out online, Goffman's ideas are more relevant than ever. So the next time you're on social media or swiping through a dating app, think about the performance you're giving and who's watching from the audience.